actually doing something very weird. I'm gonna say some. I'm gonna make some tones with my voice. Okay? So just listen to me. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 beep. Boop 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 boop. Did you notice one of those tones was a little different than the others? Okay. So it turns out that in fully conscious individuals, if you have them on EEG electrodes and you look at their brain waves, you can find what's called a cognitive evoked potential. This unusual brain signal that actually pops out of your parietal lobes when you hear a novel sound. And this is something that we can pick up that allows us to sort of physiologically understand that our brain is actually recognizing a novel signal. So I work in the, like Dr. Wiltong said, I work in the intensive care unit. I take care of kids whose hearts stop, who have traumatic brain injury, and who are comatose. And we have to have discussions with families about whether their children are, even though they're unresponsive, whether they can actually understand the environment around them, and whether they have the chance for recovery. And right now we don't really have a good validated biomarker that can really tell us where things are going to go. But what we've seen in some adult patients is that some of these signals can be seen in the intensive care unit. Some of these signals can, if you put headphones on adults that have these, that play these novel signals, you can actually see a change in their brainwave pattern, what's called an evoked response, And there's some preliminary data coming out of adults that suggests that up to 20% of adults that are clinically unresponsive in the ICU actually can recognize these signals and may actually be aware of their surroundings. And a lot of those adult patients end up going on to have clinical recovery. So there was a paper published by one of my mentors at Columbia University, published in New England Journal of Medicine last year on this. And if you just look up consciousness and EEG on Google, you can find this on NPR, the study that just got published last year. So this was my mentor at Columbia when I was there that did it. And so I'm really interested in looking at, can we actually translate this to children? It's never been done before. So our group actually put together a large $1.5 million NIH grant that we submitted last October. And pretty recently we found out that we got it rejected. It got scored. It was in the top 50th percentile, but it got rejected. And the biggest thing that they told us, the biggest criticism that they had, is you have no prelim data on children using these EEG signals. And we don't. We need to get that prelim data. But to do that, we need some resources, and that's where we're looking for your help. So what we're proposing is a one-year study of where we can look at about 20 to 40 children with acute brain injuries in the intensive care unit. So we'll enroll them. Most of them are on EEG for standard of care to look for seizures. But while they're on there, we want to consent these families to the opportunity to put headphones on their child's ears and play these novel signals and see if we can see them, see how prevalent they are in children in the intensive care unit who are unresponsive, and then follow them over the course of a year and see how many of them recover. And we hope that that's going to generate the prelim data so that 1 year from now we can publish it, we can tell you guys the results, and we can resubmit that NIH grant with the chance to get that money here at Phoenix Children's.